Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, and today is November 8th, 2018, another wonderful Thursday in the world of Destiny, and you Guardians know what that means. It's time for the Bungie Weekly Blog, This Week at Bungie. We've got a lot going on in the world of Destiny, and a lot of things getting ready to start, with Black Armory on the horizon, the end of the Thunderlord quest coming next week, and a couple of other seasonal activities getting ready for their final run, a lot of which is going to be discussed here in this week's TWAB. Let's go ahead and jump right on in. First things first, we're going to have a couple of Bungie Twitch streams coming up. First, we've got a Bungie bounty for Gambit on Xbox One. This is going to be taking place on November 12th at around 10 a.m. Pacific time. Then we're going to have a Bungie Last Wish raid along on November 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Both of these streams will be able to be watched over at Bungie's official Twitch page. So if you want to see if you can take on the Bungie team in Gambit, being sure to hit them all with as many Queenbreaker shots as you can, or if you want to see them make their way through the Last Wish raid, make sure you're tuning in for that. Next on the list, we've got some incoming stability improvements for Destiny 2 on console, as well as some sandbox changes in the loop. First things first, we've got some rather important performance changes. Engineer Ben Thompson took to the TWAB to explain about how they're going to be making your console experience for Destiny 2 a little bit smoother. He broke down 3 distinct performance issues that they're currently looking into. First up, starting up the game, signing on and selecting your character, loading into activities and traveling throughout a destination, and finally, loading the player inventory screen and switching between UI tabs. You might have noticed as D2 has gone on with all these updates, all these DLC packs with Curse of Osiris, Warmind, and now Forsaken, the game has felt like it's gotten progressively slower and slower and slower as all of those updates have gone into place. It's not all in your head, it's a real thing that's happening right now, and apparently it's going to be addressed in some of the upcoming patches that we're going to be getting. And we even get a bit of an explanation for why this is happening. Here's what Ben had to say. In the upcoming Season 5 update, you should see significant improvements loading into activities and traveling throughout a destination. We've been bringing new content, bug fixes, and patches at a cadence more frequent than we had previously accounted for. That cadence of patching has translated into some unexpected overhead within the code that is responsible for loading data into the game. All that being said, loading from orbit into the EDZ should be reduced from over 2 minutes down to just over 1 minute, and we're eager to see how things pan out in the wild. Basically, they've been adding patch by patch by patch more data into the game, and apparently that caused some problems within the code that have made it laggier and has turned those loading times into some real nightmares. Glad they got that figured out, and hopefully that fix is going to be coming soon for you console players. But that's not the only thing that's being looked at right now. We've also got some sandbox tuning for 2 supers in particular, Spectral Blades and Chaos Reach. Sandbox design Claude Jerome took to the TWAB to explain what's going to be happening with these 2 supers. Spectral Blades is being heavily retuned to increase the reliability of melee attacks in PvP. Hallelujah! And to bolster the effectiveness of the super's stealth capabilities. And here are the planned changes to reach these goals. They're going to be increasing the melee lunge range of all attacks with Spectral Blades. They're reducing the cost of the light melee combo attacks. They're increasing the number of consecutive hits required to speed up the attack rate. And they're decreasing the base attack speed to improve hit registration on intended targets. Hit registration is a huge problem with Spectral Blades in PvP and sometimes even in PvE right now. They go on to note that this is not intended as a nerf. The goal here is to increase the intentionality of the attack rate increase so that it is more often happening when players are focusing on a single target. So basically they're slowing down the attack speed so that your hits register more often. There seems to be a really interesting solution to that problem, but whatever gets it working in PvP right now is good enough for me, I guess. Next, they've retuned the melee targeting to have a greater emphasis on player input. For example, where your stick input is directed toward or which target your camera is facing, making sure that you're hitting the enemy that you're actually trying to hit rather than the one next to them, I guess. And they state that the goal here is to reduce the likelihood of melee targeting picking enemies that you don't want to hit. Again, another great change. Finally, they're increasing the viability of stealth mechanics. They've added a small amount of damage resistance to the stealth state and a further decrease to super drain when in the stealth state. So quite a bit of buffs coming to Spectral Blades, which I know a lot of the community out there have really been calling for. Spectral Blades is a pretty fun class to play as, but in PvP right now it's just so inconsistent with whether or not your shots are actually going to hit your target or if you're just going to be swinging futilely into the air forever. So I'm very happy to see that they're going to be addressing that, and hopefully Spectral Blades is going to be a bit better when all of these changes go into effect. Alright, next up we've got a change coming to Chaos Reach for you Warlocks. They're tuning the energy cost of deactivating Chaos Reach early. The intent of this tuning pass is to make it more rewarding to skillfully time your early deactivation when using this super. Essentially, it will be more punishing to deactivate the Chaos Reach super extremely early, but less punishing when deactivating later in the super. For those who don't know, Chaos Reach is supposed to work like this. It's the big Kamehameha beam. You're originally supposed to be able to stop that super early and maintain some of your super energy. I'm not exactly sure how well that's working on console right now. I play on PC and it's not really working at all for me. So it looks like they're going to be retuning that and making it a bit more consistent, and adding a bit of a skill element to it. This is one of the instances where I really wish Bungie would give us some hard numbers here. Rather than just telling us that, they're going to be rewarding you for stopping your super early in a skillful manner rather than just stopping it too early. Since we don't have any numbers, we really have no way to gauge exactly how this is going to work until we get our hands on it. But either way, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Finally, they're adding checkpoint resets to in-game activities. They're currently looking to add reset functionality to checkpoints in various activities like the last raid wish. They don't have a specific timeline for when this functionality will be added, but they wanted to note that the feedback is under investigation. Thank you, this is something we have really been missing from Destiny 1. Way back in the day in D1, let's say you were running Vault of Glass and you had a Gorgon Maze checkpoint. If you wanted to go back and maybe start the raid over, maybe you missed out on your Templar clear, you joined some other group to get a chest or something and you wanted to start things over, you could just go to the director and start that activity over. You could just reset it. That functionality was lost in D2 and I never understood why, so thankfully that ability is coming back and I could not be any happier to see it return. Alright, moving on, we've got another Gambit Double Infamy weekend coming. As many of you Guardians know, Destiny 2 is actually free on PC right now, and it's going to stay that way until November 18th. I definitely recommend, even if you don't think you have a great gaming PC, I definitely recommend you go and download it just so you can have it later in case you decide to upgrade. But to celebrate all of those new players and introduce them to the Drifter, they're going to be hosting another Gambit free trial weekend. This is going to be starting on November 9th at 9 AM and going until November 11th at 9 AM. So all you Guardians who just jumped into Destiny 2, well, first off, welcome to the game on PC. Feels like an entirely different game now, doesn't it? But you're going to have a chance to jump into Gambit free of cost starting this weekend. And for you Guardians who already own Forsaken, Double Infamy will also be available in the Gambit playlist. And of course, it's a full curse week, so your chances of running into the meatball are better than ever. Well, at least if you've got good RNG. I've been playing a little bit of Gambit today, still haven't seen that meatball once. But alright, the last real thing we needed to talk about in this week's TWAB video was a couple of Pinnacle activities and some seasonal events that are going to be changing in the future. First things first, Iron Banner is returning for its final run in Season 4. This is of course starting next week, November 13th, and ending on the 20th. This will be the last Iron Banner of Season 4, which means it's going to be your last chance to earn any Iron Banner triumphs that are associated with Season 4. Additionally, Season 4 is going to be coming to an end on November 27th. So if you haven't finished any seasonal triumphs like the seasonal Vanguard rank or the seasonal Valor and Glory rank challenges, you might want to get those done before the 27th. Because that is when Season 4 is going to be ending and we are going to be ushered into the glorious age of Season 5. Now this also applies to Pinnacle Crucible weapons. And the TWAB goes to note that while the quest lines for Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten, of course the Redrix's Broadsword as well, are available year-round, Crucible ranks are going to be reset at the end of Season 4. Each of those quests contains a quest step to reach a rank milestone, and progress may be lost for these specific steps if you do not reach those requirements prior to the season ending. So if you're trying to reach Fabled in Glory or Legend or any of that kind of stuff for your quest, you're going to want to make sure you get that done before November 27th when Season 4 comes to an end. We're almost at the finish line, Guardians. Keep grinding it out. But alright Guardians, that is pretty much it for this week's issue of the Bungie Weekly Blog, This Week at Bungie. There's a lot of exciting things to look forward to. We've got the end of Season 4 on November 27th, which means the Season of the Forge. Season 5 is coming up really quick. There's also some really interesting questions there, since Season 4 is coming to an end on the 27th. Does that mean we're going to be getting some new content, new environments, and all that kind of stuff on that same date? We do know that the next big content release, Black Armory, is supposed to be dropping in Season 5. And with the end of Season 4 right around the corner, we've got to be learning about that new content sometime really soon. I wouldn't even be surprised if we started learning about Black Armory as soon as next week, so make sure you're staying tuned. But that is it for this one, Guardians. Those are my thoughts on all the changes. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But alright, that's going to be it for this one, Guardians. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.